Hello, everybody, and welcome to Behind the Camera with AndyGames. This is the podcast where I interview streamers and content creators with the sole purpose of getting to know the person a little bit better behind the camera. Today's guest, in a Behind the Camera first, we are welcoming back Sir T. Sir T, it is lovely to have you back on Behind the Camera. How are things?
It's great to be back. I mean, honestly, like this behind the camera thing that you're doing is very innovative, and I love the concept. I love watching all the episodes. Everybody else should watch every single episode without pause. From the next 12 hours, I expect to see those numbers fly up.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, like, can you believe it's been 6 months since our last conversation on Behind the Camera?
It does not seem like 6 months, and so much has changed.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the main reason why I wanted to bring you back, because um very, very shortly after our first conversation, that was like the kind of the point where everything changed. Like you came out with your, it was like a bombshell in the sort of like the sort of streaming world that we were in of Mario 64 speedrun, and it was like an absolute bombshell where you announced your retirement from speedrunning. So tell us about that initial kind of decision, that decision to sort of change from speedrunning to go into other things. Like let's start on that.
Okay, so well, for starters, to be completely honest, the part one of behind the camera is what actually sparked me thinking about this. Um, we went into a bunch of different topics on episode one here, and it got me thinking. Like, I never really intended to do Mario 64 speed runs like solely.
Yeah.
And I was going through some mental health issues with speedrunning. It's a lot. It's very taxing on the brain. Very taxing on the brain. But I felt like I was trapped, and I think we had that conversation online that day.
Yeah.
And I actually started thinking about it a lot after that. I'm like, well, am I actually happy just doing this? Because at the time, I would try to like branch out a little bit. I would try to do little things here and there, and being a streamer, when you see those viewer numbers drop down to like 1 or 0 people, it's very hard on the brain. So like
Yeah.
before I actually decided to stop the speedrunning, I was actually dabbling with stop streaming in general.
Oh.
Um, so I was weighing my options for a couple days there on if I wanted to continue this little journey that I'm on or not, because it was just so taxing on the brain. Um, and I had to get really good really fast at the being okay with small numbers, being okay with doing this for myself rather than doing this for other people, because it started off with, you look at streaming, being a streamer, like numbers are everything, and it
Yeah.
shouldn't be like that. Um, so yeah, I weighed my options. I sat and thought about it, and I almost stopped streaming in general, and then I decided, like, you know what? Let me just take a step back. Let me not make any haste decisions. I need to get away from Mario for a little while, and we'll start with that. So when I made the announcement to retire from speedrunning, it was more of a I'm gonna stop doing it every stream and just start handing it out a little more intermittently. Um, and then after the announcement, I actually looked at it one day and I'm like, well, do I want to play Mario today?
Yeah.
And I just got this sour taste in my mouth, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not even going to do it intermittently anymore. I'm just going to pull completely out of this, move forward, and hope for the best, because I still enjoy people. I still enjoy the community that is behind me. I still enjoy playing games. So let's work on that. Let's work on getting better at content. Let's work on having more fun with the streams itself. And it worked. It
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah. I think it's sort of a massive decision to sort of make when you're after, like, you would have been what, about a year in or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
A year
Yep.
into streaming, you've got your base down in terms of what you do. This is your content. Your content is speedrunning. obviously you dabbled in the odd thing here and there, but you'd find like, your niche with speedrunning, especially with the community. Everybody is like helping everybody in terms of progressing, in terms of ability and growth and stuff like that. And everybody kind of knows everybody.
Hmm.
So to sort of like just be like, this is amazing, but I need to sort of change things up a bit. It's a huge thing because when you mention the numbers there as well, like I almost think that it's kind of can be telling into the fact that like, well, I get X number of people watching me play this one specific game. Is it going to be the same
Hmm.
whenever you move on to something different, especially when like yourself, you become somewhat of a variety streamer. Like
Hmm.
I think every single stream or 90% of the streams I've seen you do since like the last 6 months, it's been something different. And like, so obviously, you said as well that you were dabbling with the idea of not going back to streaming like at all. But did you have any sort of previous ideas in terms of like, well, okay, if I do stay streaming, maybe do something different? Or is this just something that like, as time has progressed, you've been thinking, okay, well, maybe I can just sort of do this, maybe I can do that. And it's just kind of snowballed.
Well, I didn't really have any ideas, if I'm being completely honest. I knew that I needed to get away from Mario. I just knew it. I didn't really know what the end goal was there. Um, as far as streaming is related, as far as content and all that, that's a little bit of a separate story there. But as far as streaming, I didn't really have a plan. I just wanted to go back to having fun.
Yeah.
And um, shortly after the retirement, I started working towards like Ocarina of Time randomizers, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm like, it's like I was walking through the dark with my hands out like this, just trying to grab something, you know. And I've had ideas since, and I've got ideas coming forward that have to do with speedrunning still,
Yeah.
but not as a this is what you are, this is what you're doing, you're never allowed to move. You know,
Yeah.
like it won't ever go back to that because when you're bottlenecked into something and forced to do stuff that you're not necessarily enjoying, it makes the unenjoyment that much worse.
Yeah.
Um, it's like eating a food that you don't like and then being told like, okay, you gotta eat burnt corn for the rest of your life. All right. You grow a common distaste
Yeah.
for corn itself.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there might not be anything wrong with it, but it's because it's the situation, isn't it? Like, you're put into
Hmm.
something that you're put in a position you don't want to be in.
Hmm.
And I think it is so easy for streamers who are known for running one thing, they're well established within a specific community, to branch out of that. It's kind of like, it's like you say, you step into the dark, you're stepping into the unknown. And what I think is like what the casual viewer, I think, might not really necessarily understand is that that's a big thing for a streamer to do.
Hmm.
Because like, how many people say, we're there for the streamer, we're not there for the game? Which again is a very valid thing. But at the same time, there
How
are
many actually
so
are?
many more. Yeah, how many actually are? That's the thing, because you know that there are so many people who just are there for the game. You just might not see them in chat.
Hmm.
Um, so like, obviously, whenever you made the change, there was like so much to think about in terms of that. Because it's like you say, when you stream, there's a big element of it. You're streaming for the numbers. You're streaming to grow. And if you can't get those numbers, how are you supposed to grow?
Hmm.
But whilst also at the same time doing what you want to do. It's like a double edged sword at some points, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And what a lot of people don't realize, and I think I can speak for you in this aspect too, and countless other people, I'm not a full time streamer. I
Mm-hmm.
don't make the money, I don't make the funds or anything like that to be a full time streamer. Now, if I did, things might be a little different because then you're actually looking at numbers. Um, but I do this as a hobby. I do it because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm not enjoying myself, what's the point in continuing it? You know? So, in that aspect, yes, numbers are still important. Numbers, growing any future into anything, obviously that's important.
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean, honestly, like it's not. I make it important for no reason.
Yeah.
So that's the hurdle I had to get over to kind of move forward.
Mm-hmm. So based around that, so like, you say you kind of went in with no real plan in terms of what you were going to do. You dip your toes into the Ocarina of Time randomizers, and now you just do something. You just do different things, which to me just said you do what you want to do, which is like
Yep.
the every streamer's dream. But one particular thing that I've noticed alongside that is much more of a focus into the content side of things. So
Yes.
you've gone from just Mario sort of game clips as your TikToks to just anything and everything in like the best possible way, and things that you've like implemented into your stream as well. So what was the sort of origins surrounding that as well? Like, especially with the Lime lore, which for those who may not know, in Surtees streams, he has like this lore that limes are evil. There is a lot more to it than that, but I would implore that you go through his channel and learn about it, because it makes for some fascinating viewing. So yeah, tell us about like your branch into just the content side of things, and like where this lore actually began.
Okay, so as far as the content stuff, video editing, I have like a weird passion for it. Like I really enjoy
Mm,
editing, and I really enjoy editing like long form stuff.
yeah.
Something that's I'm not done in like 4 seconds. You slap a little bit of text on the screen and you cut it here and you move on. Like I'm more of a long form. Like I want to sit down for an hour or two and like I want to make this cool. I want to make this funny. I
Mm-hmm.
want to make whatever I'm looking at the time. So really enjoy it. But when I was speedrunning, for some reason I thought I needed to make content revolved around only speedrunning.
Yeah.
So there again, bottlenecking myself. And I tried to branch out what I could and everything. But moving forward a little bit. So once the retirement happened, it went through a weird little phase where I didn't know what to stream.
Yeah.
I tried a couple different things, and I played Fortnite a couple times, Ocarina of Time Randomizer. But if something random was to happen and I couldn't stream that specific game, servers are down or emulators not working, whatever, I didn't know what the hell to do. So I'm like, okay, what else can I do here? So I started looking more into the content side of stuff. Playing different weird games offline, making little kind of clips out of them, stuff that I wasn't really super into streaming, but
Yeah.
still wanted to dabble in. And I started learning how to talk without having a chat to talk to,
Yeah.
which is a huge benefit, in my opinion, to everything content related. Being able to carry a conversation on with people that's not even there with yourself is what people come to watch. Like somebody's lurking that's, not there for the game, but there for the streamer, if they're just lurking, they want to be entertained just as much as they want to watch the game. So like
Yeah.
being able to carry on something like that is huge. And when I realized this, I started leaning really heavy into it. And anybody who keeps up with my TikTok page can see it, because it gradually goes from gaming, less gaming. Now I'm just talking crap in general, and making funny remarks, which is what my personality is. Like I like to make myself laugh just as much as I like to make other people laugh. So if I enjoy that on a personal level, why wouldn't I make my content about that?
Yeah.
So that being said, I started noticing this, and I'm like, okay, so how can I merge the two, the content side of stuff and the streaming side of stuff? I'm going to make something just weird and cursed. And I sat down one day and I brought up Copilot, and I think I said something like, what's the most unhinged thing that I could do in the content world? and I don't know what exactly it said, but something in there mentioned lime green, and I'm like, ugh. I'm like, I hate lime green. I'm like, I hate limes. So, that being said, I'm like, okay, well, I'm about to make something super cursed. And I sat here with a pen and a paper and I'm just writing some stuff. And I used AI to like help me with the script because I was still new to like learning scripts and how to place everything. Everybody knows my spelling and grammar is just atrocious. Um, so I used AI to help me like fine tooth comb some stuff, and it came out with this little script. I'm like, all right, scientist T it is, and that's where all that was born. And I actually made that video, and I'm like, I don't want this to be on my channel. I don't want this to be on YouTube. I don't want this to be on anything other than my live streams. Because it makes a very good filler spot. Like, I've got to go answer my door. I've got to go change laundry over. I got to go do something. Rather than you staring at this chair, why not hear some just like crazy off the wall stuff? And it was only meant to be a single thing. And I came out with it, and I got on my Discord, and I remember saying something to the effect of like, I've just made the most cursed thing ever, and I think I'm not going to show you guys.
I remember that.
And the amount of haze I got for not showing this was just insane. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, you guys win. And I hit the button, and it went down a rabbit hole. Like I was watching people in the chat as they were watching this little weird video, and like people just getting excited and laughing and vibing with it. I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this. I want to do more of this.
Yeah.
And then I started growing on it, and for some reason the lime lore people are weirdly enjoying it. So like I'm expanding it more. Now I've got like prequels and whatnot.
That's the good thing about it though, is because like there's so much potential with it, because it's sort of something so out of context that you've like created. And even when you add the context into it, like you just something that Copilot came up with, and you just sort of, your mind just sort of spiderwebbed this entire thing, and it became something off of a color. Like it does open the door to like endless possibilities in terms of things that you can like develop it with. Like, you know, I got prequels, then there's obviously a story, continuing with it. And I think the good thing as well with what you do with that is the fact that it you don't kind of like butcher it to the point of just, you know, what's the point in this? And it's like, it's so sporadic in its own way, to the point where it's just, you know, you can just do it whenever you want. You think, you know, you're not sitting there racking your brain, when's the next lime lore, people are waiting. It's just, it'll come when it comes. You just have a random thought one day, and it's like all of a sudden you get a ping in Discord. It's like, hey guys, the newest bit of lime lore is going to be on stream today. Come join. And it's a good incentive then for people to join. And I think, it requires like such a level of creativity to do that. And the fact that like, people are into that, it just is, it's incredible. And something particularly for me is, for those who are watching, behind Sir T's right shoulder, you will see a doll of Link from Legend of Zelda hung by the ankles upside down. Now there might be a little bit more to it, but I remember you stitched one of my videos from TikTok, and you just opened it with, well, all of this could have been avoided had you not brought up limes in my presence. And just even that, just little piece of lore there, just it can just be applied
and he
to
stayed
like
here since then.
So did you tie him up for the purpose of that stitch?
Yes. I made this whole scenario for the video I stitched with you, and I've just left him there. It generates so much because like I've got his hands bound behind him and it's like mounted up to the ceiling. Like sometimes like midstream I'll just like backhand him and he'll start spinning.
Brilliant. See, but that just goes to show it's like the little things like that add so much. And the fact it's so open ended, it's just like, it's like, why is Link hung up there? It's like, listen, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. It's
Usually
a
just say,
dark
hey, he's just
story.
hanging around.
Yeah, it's a dark story, like, just, and it's it all began with limes.
And what's so fun about this? And like, there's no real end goal for it.
No, it doesn't
I'm
have to
just
be.
purely having fun with it.
Yeah.
So like, new people that come into my community, they have these questions, and usually it's about the Link firsthand. Like, wait, why is Link hanging like that? Like, he's just hanging around. But as you stay longer, you start noticing these little things that I've just thrown in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I feel like it almost brings a little bit more depth to things that I can actually enjoy. I'm not under any timeline, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, I can put them out wherever, and I think people get more excited from that aspect. I just randomly ping everybody on the Discord, like, "Hey guys, you guys, I'm gonna go live for 10 minutes. If you want to see the commercial, here you go."
Yeah, and like those like commercials that you've done, I think they've been incredible. And I know you've utilized is it Donna, the music AI tool? Or do you use a different one?
Um, no, I use a different one. It's music.aiy, I think it is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, but you utilize like music
Mm-hmm.
AI sort of aspect, and like I think you do it better than anybody I've ever seen, because I know you've done it for so many different things. You have it for your preamble to your commercials. You even did the behind the camera theme song as well, which is like an absolute staple of this podcast. Like whenever I do this live, that is the intro. And it's incredible. Like it's also on Spotify too. Like I had to just put that up because it's just incredible. For your new run tournament as well, I know you did one for the first announcement of the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think that kind of just sort of goes hand in hand with the fact you're long form content, because these like videos that you've done, they're not for short form content. They are just because it fits in well, because those videos are relatively long. And but the fact that it's something that you have like put the effort into and developed, that's like the kind of reward from it, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's something that people don't really see elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like, obviously I could like upload it to YouTube or whatever like that, but like, if you're not searching for something like that, why would you see it? So like,
Yeah.
why not just have a little bit of fun? I really enjoy the AI stuff. Like, I make all those lyrics myself. I do use AI to help me fine tooth comb some stuff,
Yeah.
but AI is cursed. Like, it
Oh
can come up with the weirdest stuff. Um, and I think Freeman Games can vouch for me on this. Like, we did a little collab for a little rap battle for the ending of his tournament,
yeah.
and we sat here for, I think it was like 2 different sessions, 2 different days, trying to file through this, and we're making stuff up by talking to each other, throwing into AI, see what it liked, see what it didn't like, see what kind of curse thing it comes out with, and we were pulling it back out like, all right, yeah, we can't use this, we gotta change
Yeah.
this. For some reason, it said fork in the middle of this word.
But like that's the whole like beauty of it, is like you still get to like workshop something. Like you're still putting in like that level of effort to get something like kind of incredible to come out of it.
Yep.
So we did just mention the new run tournament. Um Now obviously this is a big part of you kind of um a big part of the fact that you were established as a speedrunner, and it's a big part of you that you're holding on to, because you can't really ever get rid of it. I tried, didn't work for me. I got back into it and started enjoying it more.
It's
But
like doing drugs and then trying to quit. Like, you want it more.
yeah,
Then when you do it, you're like, is this really a good idea?
100%. So I love the concept of it. But yeah, tell us about this. Tell us about like its conception, where the idea came up, and yeah, the concept of it itself. Like tell us about the new run tournament.
Okay, so yeah, obviously I'm a retired Super Mario 64 speedrunner, and there was always that want for different stuff that I felt bottlenecked for. And really, the idea for this tournament came specifically from that kind of want that I have in my brain. I still love speedruns. I still love speedrunning content. I would love to, and I just announced in my Discord a couple days ago that over the course of this upcoming year, I'm going to try to learn other speedruns to see if it was Mario related that I needed to stay away from, or if it's speedruns in general I need to stay away from. Do little experiments there. So the love for speedruns are still here. But all the people I like, yourself, Logan, all these other different streamers that I hang out in, and I'm in a lot of different streams. I support a lot of different people. But all these different people that I consider friends that are also streamers and everything are all doing Mario 64.
Yeah.
And I don't care how good a food is. When you eat the same food every single day, you get tired of it. I'm sorry to keep on going back to food, but I'm kind of hungry, so. But so the idea for this tournament came from that stuff. I really want to see these guys speedrun something else. I know they could be great at doing this too, but do they want to? How do I ask them? Like, will they do it? Blah blah blah. So like, there was a tournament going on. I think it was Deanie's tournament actually.
Yeah.
Where about halfway through, he asked me to commentate, and I hated that game. I hated Diddy Kong Racing. And
I don't know why. It's a good game, man. It's a good game.
I don't either. I'm just not. It's crazy for those watching. I actually own the physical copy of it. Don't know why.
It's a sign. It's a sign, especially with you saying, there's things you want to get into this year. Maybe it's a sign.
Yeah. So that being said, so he offered to have me come in and commentate. And I really enjoyed commentating with him, like way more than I could have ever imagined I would have enjoyed it. So that gave me the thought, like, okay, well, maybe I can do something like this. Maybe people will be interested in it. So I decided I was going to make a video and gauge interest. I'm thinking, okay, even if I get 4 or 6 people, I could still do something. No, I got like 25 different responses to this for people wanting to join this thing. And it filled me with some kind of emotion that I don't really know how to really explain. But obviously some of those people couldn't compete. Some of those people had life stuff. So there was a lot of stuff, and there's a lot that goes on with getting that many people together all at one time. But at the end of the day, I think we had 18 people actually participate in this tournament, and are still going in on this tournament. And I love it. I love every second of it, because like, not only am I enjoying all the content, watching people learn new speedruns, watching people do more runs, like Earthworm Jim, for example. We had a 32-minute PB mid-race, and the world record for Earthworm Jim 1 is only 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, these people have only had 2 weeks to practice. Like, that's such a cool concept in my brain.
Yeah.
And just at a bottom level, I love games. I love games. I love retro games, and I love speedruns. So why not just mix it all?
100%. And I think, honestly, in terms of a concept of a tournament, it's incredible. Like you say, all of these people who are solely Mario 64 speedrunners, or that's their main anyway.
Yeah.
You're basically like, well, give this a go. Just, is it the game, or is it the fact that the speedrunning, like that kind of thing. I just think it's incredible. And like, now, whenever you announced Earthworm Jim, within the first few days of that, oh my God, people kicked up a fucking storm about it. Oh my God. And like, I don't understand why, because I mean, I remember like in the Discord server that you set up for it, like people were complaining about it. I eventually just even like had to step in myself, because look, this is the whole point of the tournament. If you don't like the game, don't participate, or just completely throw it. But that's entirely on you. But the point of this is to branch out into other games, because there are other games. It may not be your main, it may not be your niche. You may be concerned about the numbers it might do when you're streaming it, but don't stream it. Do it offline. It's fine. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't do a single Earthworm Jim stream. I solely did it offline. And like I don't know why I didn't do it. I don't think I did too many streams around that time anyway. I'm
We
not
did the
sure.
same thing with Diddy Kong Racing too, and
Yeah,
honestly, I think that increased the hype.
I think
I really
so.
truly do because like you came out of nowhere, you're like, yeah, yo, here's the size of
Yeah,
my.
like yeah, I kind of like with Diddy Kong, I had that like dark horse type thing going on. Like, and I just was like, for me, it was like the sort of casual because it was like I've played this game a lot. Earthworm Jim, I practiced so much offline. Now, I didn't ever get a full run, but I enjoyed it, man. I
It's
enjoyed, and like, seeing people like Howlin' Wolf. And this is a man who has like, he started off, his mainstream was similarly enough to yourself, like Mario 64 speedrunning. That was his main thing when he started out. And that man is a year in and he still is struggling to get that sub 2016 star.
Mhm.
And you know what? He decided, this isn't for me right now. And he's moved on to variety, doing different things. He'll come back every so often. But whenever Earthworm Jim was named as the first game and he got into it, he absolutely, like, it was almost like an absolute sort of
It's like somebody
tragedy.
flipped the switch on.
Yeah, it was an almost tragedy that he didn't win his first round, but like that first round, that was final worthy in terms of
Mhm.
um quality and just content alone, really, because like they had like Newman Beatbox, who he's been a guest on the podcast before, and everybody who might be watching live, you'll all know who Newman Beatbox is. Absolute champion speedrunner, absolute incredible speedrunner, content creator, entertainer, everything. He can pick up a game and just learn it. Like he just has that kind of capacity
He
for
has
it.
a gift.
Absolutely. And up against Howlin' Wolf, and Howlin' Wolf doesn't really have that much of a speedrunning CV apart from Mario 64. But he got the best time out of everybody. He got like
Good
a,
race.
I think he got a 32:30. Roughly that was his like best time, which is like 7 minutes off world record after 2 weeks. You know, as we mentioned before, like that's just incredible. And that is like again why I think this tournament, like even though I'm out of the tournament, I got eliminated in the first round, but I still love the concept and still keeping close by with it because there are so many games. If you like speedrunning, there's so many different things you can do, and it's like you said, you're thinking of going into speedrunning more games this year. Do you have much of an idea in terms of what you are going to be looking at?
Quite a few different thoughts. The biggest one, like top of the list, very first thing I'm going to try to learn is Hollow Knight.
Okay.
Absolutely love the game. And I've been looking at Hollow Knight speedruns before I even started with Super Mario
Oh,
64.
nice.
Um, but it's like never playing Super Mario 64 and then trying to learn 120 star
Yeah.
category. Like it's daunting. Um, so I've just never really had the, I don't know if I want to say the courage to just do it, or if I I almost been talking myself out of it, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's time to kind of stop doing that because there's always going to be that one. There's always going to be the what if, the well, you
Hmm.
love this game. What if you would love to speedrun it? It's always going to be in your head. So
Oh, for
why not?
sure. Because and this is something that I've noticed, particularly now. This is particularly more on the Twitch side of things, where because obviously there's the whole discoverability argument between TikTok and Twitch, right? So in terms of
Mhm.
discoverability, TikTok is much better on a very general basis.
Yes.
Because obviously they have like everything is categorized, but if you're just gaming a certain thing, you will get 90% of that one game, but then 10% of other somewhat similar games. And then within that 10%, sometimes maybe just random people will come up based on whether it be location or whatever it may be.
Search results, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But when it comes to Twitch, it's a whole entire other thing because the tags on Twitch are important and your title is important as well. So, um, if I've ever speedrun something different on Twitch, I have gotten a lot more new people come in.
Oh,
Not
really?
necessarily have stayed, but maybe a few new followers. Yeah, just people. I think like I don't think people go to TikTok to watch a speedrunner, or at least
Hmm.
not really as much as they would on Twitch. This is like I mean, this might not be the case for everybody, but this is just my own personal experience. But I find that like if I've ever speedrun something different, more people who've come in who are an absolute like really big followers of these games, or they do it themselves. Like Diddy Kong Racing, for example. The times I did that, people have come in and been like, "Oh, speedrun Diddy Kong, cool. I'm gonna hang out." Um, so I kind of think if you're speedrunning on like Twitch, you're definitely kind of opening up your own discoverability in that sense, which hopefully hopefully makes you feel better about the whole kind of do I want to do this sort of thing. Because I know
Yeah.
on TikTok it can be certainly hard, but I think on Twitch for speedrunning, as long as you have your tags and your title, um, because like obviously with their whole raid function, you can search by who is playing the particular game. You can't do that on TikTok. You can't even raid on TikTok.
And that's something noteworthy too. Is like while I was streaming, while I was doing speedrunning, it was only TikTok. I've only
Yeah.
recently came to Twitch and YouTube and these other apps in the defense of the TikTok ban, but I'm starting to like these other streaming platforms better because again, I've got a problem being told what to do. I've got a
Mm.
problem with bottlenecking, and that's all TikTok's about. Um,
Yep.
what should you say? How should you say it? This, that, and the other. So, um, Twitch is awesome for the exact opposite reasons that I like TikTok. And to note with what you were saying there about the difference in engagement and reach and all that, TikTok, you're looking at a platform that enhances doom scrolling. You're
Yeah.
just supposed to sit there and do this, and these people randomly come across your stream, your speed run, whatever you're doing, whenever TikTok allows it. So they'll throw you on the For You page, and all these people that's just doom scrolling sees your live.
Yeah.
Then you take in nostalgia or game related or whatever, and then they come in. However, on Twitch, they are physically looking for, okay, I want to watch Ratchet and Clank, so who's streaming Ratchet and Clank? And then there's a
Yeah.
couple more featured from there, and that's why you see a lot of the Twitch streamers talking about Twitch viewers are better because they hang around more. They're more permanent viewers rather than TikTok, because TikTok, they didn't intend to come into your stream and look at what you're doing
Yeah.
rather than they just came across it,
Yeah, that's it. They were just scrolling through. Something happened to take their eye for more than 5 seconds, and they stayed. Which
Mm-hmm.
is an incredibly like in itself is an incredibly lucky thing to happen because there are probably like countless number of streamers who both you and I know, and even probably ourselves, who that's happened to. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just so happens that we were doing whatever it was we were doing, and all of a sudden somebody's just been like, "Oh yeah, cool, here we are. Um,
Yep.
this looks interesting. I'm gonna hang right here." And like, obviously, yourself, people do come and go. Communities change all the time, and it's one of the things. It's kind of like almost sad to think about, but it is just like a massive part of it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And
but sorry, what?
oh, I was just going to say, from a streamer level of stuff, that's something that bugs me about streamers, and I'm including myself in this too. More past than present, but still find myself thinking about it. So streaming's a lot like a streaming platform like Netflix or Hulu or something like that. People come in, they watch something, okay? They enjoy it, sure, that's fine. But again, going back to food here, once you eat the same kind of food over and over and over for 6 months, you start getting tired of it a little bit. There is nothing at all wrong with somebody just growing tired of
Yeah,
content and moving on. I mean, it doesn't
absolutely.
mean that you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you should get upset or throw fits or send people in your community after these other people, like a headhunt. I've actually seen that. It's crazy that people come to me in another stream and they're like, "Hey, you haven't been in such and such stream for a while. What's up?" Like, there's no reason for all that.
No,
People move on. People come back. I mean, it's just the way social media platforming and streaming and content is.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I had to get it off my chest.
No. But you're 100% right though, because I sometimes think like people can take this as like such a personal thing, but it's more always a case of like, if somebody does get tired of your streams and your content, that's fine. It just goes to show that they, it's not for them.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't, one person's opinion shouldn't really hinder what you do and what you enjoy to do.
Correct.
And then of course, at the same time, life does happen. Life gets in the way. Like, I know for me personally, being, and I think for yourself, it's on a much, much bigger scale. But like, when the times that I stream, I am like kind of, I stream at the same time as a lot of different people. And like, there are times as a result, my viewership would fluctuate. And there have been times I've gotten in my own head where I've been thinking, are these people kind of dipping in and out because they're more interested in such and such? No, that's not necessarily the case. And even if it is the case, it doesn't matter, because you can never tailor to every single person's interest. Exactly. Sometimes you might be having a bad day, and some people might notice that and go somewhere that there's a bit of a better vibe. There's like infinite number of reasons, and it's one of those things. It's like, unless it's happening on the biggest possible scale, unless you've dropped from like 20 average viewers to like 2 average viewers, then you don't need to do anything. Only then.
Well, you also got to think about life events too, like sports and presidencies and elections and blah blah blah. A lot of people divert their attention to these other big world problems rather than watching streams while they're going on.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, streaming from like say October to November, streaming in America was such a weird, like, I mean, obviously I watch a lot of US streamers, yourself included, but that time was such a weird time to just even tune in, because not only was like the viewership like a lot lower in some aspects, but like the chats were quieter, and a lot of people were like either watching the debates or the election, stuff like that. And literally, but that's what people were talking about in chat. They were like, "Oh yeah, I'm still here. I'm just watching this." It's like kind of cool. That's totally fine. And then obviously, due to like, the population difference, obviously, yourself, like, you could be streaming at a certain time, but there could also be like about 8 or 9 people at the same time as you. And obviously, because like we come from this like shared community and then some, it's like you find people are just dipping in and out, trying to say hello, trying to show their support where they can, which is incredible. But the only thing I would say as a viewer, don't burn yourself out.
Yeah.
Don't feel like, it's nice to show your support. I would never say to people, stay in one stream. Just don't stress about it. Just don't stress about it. You know what I mean?
What we're doing here is supposed to be entertainment. If I'm not entertaining you, leave. It's okay. I'm not going to take it personally. If I do something in the future that's more entertaining with you and you want to come back, that's fine too. Like, it's not that serious. Like, I'm going to be here regardless.
Yeah, it's like it's like channel hopping on TV.
Yeah.
Like you might want to, you might have, there might be a film on. You see 2 films on that, you really like, kind of dip in and out, maybe kind of think, okay, I'm not feeling this, or sometimes you don't even want to watch TV at all, or sometimes you just want something to be on in the background that you're fine with just having on the background while you do whatever else.
Or sometimes, if you're like me, you need Mario sounds, his little yahoos to sleep. So you turn on a stream and you go straight to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. See, I honestly, like, given the fact that you've retired from Mario and all, I definitely would call that Stockholm syndrome, to be quite honest. 100%. You can never get away from it. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. Like I did like try to take a break from it myself, and I did for like a couple of weeks, but then it was the same as you. I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what to do with myself. And then I eventually, I didn't speedrun anything for like a few weeks. And then I got to the point where I'm like, All right, you know what? I'm gonna give a randomizer a go here because I fucking love randomizer. Like
Hmm.
I love Mario 64 randomizer, as everybody knows, and I really enjoyed it. I was like,
And the
okay,
biggest thing is enjoying yourself.
yeah,
Because like I know people say it all the time and there's a lot of controversy around this, but like if you're enjoying yourself on stream, more
mm,
people are going to enjoy it
oh yeah,
on stream. Now there's plenty of controversy saying, well, I need to if I want to grow, I gotta do this. It doesn't matter how I feel as long as I'm entertaining.
yeah,
That's fine, but on a personal level, if you're not enjoying yourself, you are going to grow to hate this,
oh
just like
yeah, and
anything else.
there's so many times you just can't pretend. You can't
Yeah.
pretend to be entertaining, and people will see right through it because, and like I will be the first to tell you that I will get people. I will be enjoying a stream sometimes a little bit too much. I will get
Same.
people near the end of my stream saying to me, "You've really enjoyed this, and it's been amazing to see." Not giving a fuck about what I was playing, which is fine, but just the fact they could see me enjoying it, and I'm like, yeah, that that's absolutely for me personally. That's absolutely everything because you know I don't think anybody ever is going to stream the same thing forever. I mean, you do see some people who do that, but they kind of I kind of feel like they lose like their personality somewhere along the way and like they just become an absolute like
Robot?
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think it's important for people to like branch out into other things. And plus at the same time, it's like you say, you never want to eat the same fucking meal every single day of your life.
And
Um
here's another thing too, is like from a streamer perspective. You mentioned a minute ago that we're all in this one big community, you know?
mhm,
Um, this community has been trained as viewers. They know when to do stuff. Like
yeah.
from TikTok's perspective, like, okay, I know when the highest point of a hype is going to happen. Like I know when I'm going to send a bunch of 69 GGs, for example, because like if you PB, you're getting 69
Oh
GGs.
yeah,
You know, like
100%.
it's just how it is. Like the community as a whole has been trained on what to do.
Yeah.
And I think that hinders a lot of people, myself included. When I first started this whole variety, or whatever the hell I'm considering myself now, um, I didn't know what to do because like all of these different time frames that I was used to with speedrunning weren't there. I had
Yeah.
to create the hype myself rather than everybody anticipating when that hype is going to come. And it takes you like it kind of knocks you down a notch because like um when I was speedrunning, there was some times where I'd hit viewers of like 300 or 400 people.
Mm,
And then when I started doing this variety, it was single digits, you know,
yeah.
and I didn't know how to talk to myself and keep it entertaining. So I feel like it's a valuable lesson anybody should learn if you're a streamer, you're running Mario 64, you're running whatever game it is, take a small break away from that to grow as a streamer or a content creator and experience on how to do things without your community being able to automate, if that makes sense at all.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And like variety is an important thing. And like I know we have talked about this. It's so hard to not get wrapped up in the numbers who are watching you. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like you're gonna still be back tomorrow. You're gonna be back the next day. If you have one stream where you drop off, it's
Who
not
cares?
testament to you. And like obviously it's so much easier said than done to like not be into that mindset where, you're kind of like, oh, I suck, I can't do anything different, this, that, and the other. But the thing is, it's like not everything is going to cater to everybody. Like again, we've mentioned this as well. Not everything is going to cater to everybody. Legit, I have had streams where people have said, this game isn't for me, but they still stuck around. It's like, great, I appreciate that. Sometimes people will just not tune in at all, and it's like, fine, but then at the same time, um, it's like we said before as well, like um, people have life events. There's stuff all going on in the world. People are just kind of, like,
We don't live in social media.
yeah,
We all have lives.
exactly. And I think because, you know, the likes of you and I, we spend so much time doing this, and then the viewers, they spend a lot of time watching. There does become this kind of like blurred line sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, like it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because think about all the people who we've met who we would consider friends
Yeah.
as a result of this, and like those relationships are of course very, very real. It doesn't matter if it's over a screen, they are very real because they are very real people. We are real people.
Yes.
And it's a complete sort of like state of mind as well, because like you are surrounding yourself with people who make you feel good and give you the confidence to keep on doing what you do. And like the real world is a cruel enough place at the best times that you don't get that kind of support. Like, because if you're, let's say if I'm at work, you're at work, and if this topic of streaming and content creation ever comes up, guarantee there's always going to be somebody who's going to be like, why would you do that? Like, why would you
Yep.
just sit and play video games on the internet? Because like, what are you, like a fucking child? I mean,
Yep.
I've certainly had somebody say that to me. Like, people have been like, well, people actually pay you and you play video games. I'm like, yeah, what's your point? I'm doing something I enjoy. And people are making a choice to support me in doing that. Why can't my real life friend who I've known for 15 years, do you know what I mean? It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, it's like, it's, and, obviously, and not for obvious reasons, that's, we don't get that because it's like a whole like-minded thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think it's very much a sort of thing. Like, there is this kind of like real life stigma behind like people who do this, especially when you get to like our age and stuff. But it's a nice escape. It's a nice
It's
escape. You get to
it
meet some
is.
amazing people, and you get to do like so many like cool collabs with awesome people and stuff. Like, if I never did this, I wouldn't get to do this. We wouldn't be having this conversation. We would
Right.
never have played all of like the games offline that we've played before, or even online and stuff like that. And like same with like other people as well. Like, you get to sort of like branch out and share your hobbies with people all over the world who, in some aspects, don't feel like that they get to do that with anybody. And it's
And
just
something
like,
I've mentioned multiple times in the past is like, as an adult, like I'm 30 years old, as a 30-year-old man, it's hard to find friends that I actually share common interest
yeah,
in the real life. Like obviously, like I can talk to people, I can find some kind of common ground to have conversations or whatever, but like it's it's hard to walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, Mario 64 speedrunning." Someone look at me like I'm freaking stupid. Like, so this whole internet and streaming and everything like this is bringing people closer, and honestly, I feel like, at least for myself, has helped so many mental problems I've
yeah,
had,
100%.
because like now I know, like out of nowhere I can pull up a Discord message and be like, "Hey Andy, I'm pissed, and we're probably gonna go play the forest or something." Like
Yeah,
like you see what I'm saying? Like, and
yeah,
common interests, and you're on the opposite side of the world. You know?
100%. Yeah. You don't get that with like, people in real life a lot anymore. Like, and like used to, it's crazy because that used to be like, go back to like school days, back to the sort of, whenever Call of Duty got big,
Hmm.
and being back in like high school and stuff. And that was like the talk every single morning before going into that first class. It was just like, oh yeah, Call of Duty, this, Call of Duty, that, and they'd go home, play some more that same day. And then I kind of feel like sometimes people get this like god complex where they like feel like they've grown out of it. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's for everybody. Fucking you grow
Hmm.
up. you know?
I don't care. I'll sit there and play My Little Pony as long as I'm enjoying myself. Like,
Well, let's not go too far here, like fucking hell.
listen, listen.
No, I get that though. I get that though, because it's like, these things are built for enjoyment.
Mhm.
And there's no like age limit on it. It's like, just do it because you want to do it. Like, I mean, okay, so let me ask you this then. Like, do a lot of people in your real life know about what you do in this space?
Uh, Close people, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, aside from that, not so much.
Yeah.
Like some people at work, like no average. Like, hey, he plays games online. Like
Yeah.
that could mean a bunch of different things. Because I try to keep that stuff kind of separated because like I come from a very Christiany background, very
Mm.
headstrong, Bible thumper style people. I'm not necessarily like that, and I don't carry myself the way other people think I should,
Yeah.
and it just causes a little bit of issues. I also like have my good fair share of, so like I don't really want those people to hop in.
Yeah.
But like, not really. No.
Yeah.
Close family and friends. That's about it. And really close personal friends are the ones that know like my ambitions and everything like that, and like the good things and the things I'm excited about and stuff like that. Um, and then my wife knows everything.
Of course. See, but it's a very interesting sort of dynamic that, and the reason why I asked that is because like I'm the same. Like there's my closest friends, they know about it. Um they're kind of like very much like, well, yeah, that's cool. Um Now one of my friends will maybe watch my TikToks for like 2 or 3 minutes because he only has Facebook in terms of social media, but
Ah,
his wife will be scrolling through TikTok. And because my might have come up on her page, she doesn't even follow, but because like my lives come up on her For You page X amount of times, he'll sit and just watch. Not say anything, but he'll sit and watch through his wife's TikTok. And then he'll mention something to me. And like he's every time like in this Facebook group chat, he's always like, "Oh, here, get such and such on the podcast." I'm just like, "Shut the fuck up," which is, it's just like, but he's doing it, but it's like such an endearing way. It's like kind of funny. And then, another friend of mine, he would have tuned in on Twitch every so often. And then the rest of them are just kind of like, yeah, cool. That's cool because we can see that you're happy doing that. Um,
yeah.
and it's the same in terms of family. It's like, yeah, well, they don't really understand it too much. Like my brother, he does a little bit himself, but the rest of them are just kind of like, yeah, whatever, cool. Um, but then like it's a
Actually, a
sort of,
funny story there about that. About the like people around. So one of the whole reasons that I don't really let people know is like people just want to mess with you. Like
mm,
especially people you know in life.
yeah,
Um, there was a couple of students and another teacher that pulled my live up one night up on the big screen at school,
oh,
and like they just had like a whole entire class full of people just watching Mario. Like, and they all end up joining the stream under different names
mm,
and just saying just the most cursed stuff.
oh, good,
It's funny, but
yeah.
not appropriate.
Yeah, no, of course. It's like, on one hand you're kind of thinking, thanks for the engagement. But on the second hand, you're kind of thinking, no, no, not like this. Not like this.
Engage these.
Yeah. And like it's such a strange thing because like I kind of feel like there should be that like level of confidence. Especially considering that the confidence that this gives you, there should be like that level of confidence to be able to take this into your real life. And like um, for example, like I have multiple Instagram accounts. I have my personal one, I have my gamer one, and then my podcast one. And then I'm kind of thinking I could easily just share something from my gaming one onto my personal one.
Hmm.
But for me personally, I'm just kind of like, there are people who are going to see that who I don't want to. And it's such a stupid
Exactly.
thing because for me personally, um, it's some of my former work colleagues in my last job. I'm very much like, I don't want them to see, they have me on Instagram. I don't want them to see this because I know that they are the type of people who will go back and they will make fun of it. They will make a joke about it. And it's like, why? Why would,
Hmm.
like, I don't, but the thing is, at the same time, it's like, I'm 30 years old. Why should I give a fuck? Do you know?
Right. Well, at the same time, you've also got the creepy people,
Mm.
and being a married man there, and me with married children,
Yeah.
we got a level of um, discreetness that needs to happen, because like there's a lot of weird people that can find people. Like
Yeah.
that's why I'm so weird about like my real name online. Like some people know it, more people now than
Yeah.
before, but like you could just find people, you know?
Yeah, of
And
course.
like there was one person, and I'm not going to mention no names here or anything, but there was one person that joined my community under a random name, okay? Um I was unaware until very recently that I know this person in real life. Um and I got a DM on Discord, and they said, "Hey, do you drive a work van that says blah 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 on it?" I'm
Oh,
like,
fuck.
"Huh?" They're like, "Yeah, I just drove by your house." Like, what?
Whoa.
And then I found out that I previously worked with this person, but I didn't know that at first. Like, it was just a random person that joined my community like a year ago. They
Ugh.
never told me. Like, it was almost like they were intentionally avoiding telling me who they were, you know?
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, that would have been a whole different story, right? Had this
Yeah,
person joined your live one day and just said, "Oh, hey, we used to work together."
yeah.
You know, like
But no, like,
how different that could have been, but to just sort of like
give me
expose you like
internal
that.
panic.
Yeah. That's I mean, obviously it's the thing that the beauty of the internet is like you can always find new ways to be kind of like amazed at the amount of shit that people will do and the things that people will say and just how they conduct themselves. That just is so. Oh no, that's such a violation. Like really?
Yeah. Like, I don't think I even told anybody in the Discord about that before, but
No, I
like
don't blame you. Holy crap!
it was
Like
it was scary. Like there's something that always popped in my head, like starting this out, and it
yeah.
was always a joke I had with my buddy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be that guy that gets these stalkers throughout his life now. And like that made me realize like that's probably not a joke I should ever make again. Like
Yeah, like it's all well and good when it's a joke, but the moment it actually happens, it's kind of like, I am not about this life right now. You know, that's yeah, like I kind of feel like myself, I probably could be like a little bit safer with the sort of stuff that I put online about myself, like, but I don't give people too much information.
right.
Plus, I think as well, because I live in such a sort of out of the way little corner of the world, it's safe. Nobody, unless somebody really has a vendetta, then I think it's, so you kind of have to be like smart about it. But the fact that like, you just got unfortunate with somebody who knew you
Yeah.
before, like that's kind of, yeah, no, it's and especially like you say, when you have a family and all, you're that's like the interest that you want to protect, like moreover, because like in some aspects an attack on you is an attack on your family and vice versa. It's kind of, you have like the best interest, and your best interest in mind is to protect your family, because that should be as private as, that should be as private as anything. Like I know as well, every time I see your wife going live, she always is, very, very, very smart about this sort of thing. Like she's always just like, oh yeah, he doesn't give her name away, he doesn't give your name away. People will come in like, and I when I had a lot of time off work last year, I was able to like sort of watch a lot of them, which is of like
Mhm.
reading or just like crocheting and stuff. People would have come in
Vibrant.
like kind of thirsting and just been like, "Oh, where are you from?" I should have just been like, "Oh, I'm from planet Earth." I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a fucking grade A response right there. Um, like there's that kind of level of like maturity and like just cleverness, I suppose. But yeah, like it's just kind of it's no, I'm lucky enough. I've never had that. Like, so it's
You
it's
bring that
it's
up,
good.
and like it reminds me of there's quite a few different times where I'd be at work and I'd be on like my early break or something. I'm just scrolling TikTok for a couple minutes, and I wasn't aware that she was live. And I'm just scrolling, and you know how your friends come up on your For You page.
Uh huh.
Um, so she would pop up, and this happened more than one time. But I'm scrolling, she pops up, and the very first words I hear is, "You think I'm hot? My husband does too." So I'd have to like join in and be like, "Hi, I'm husband."
Yeah, like I seen enough of that like as well. Like every time I went into your wife's lives, it was just there was always like a few people who'd just come in and tried to just sort of like, but it was always just this the there was always that, oh yeah, I'm more than happily married here kind of thing, and then it was just dead
Hmm.
silence after that. It was actually just poetic almost, you know.
So good. People are just weird.
Oh, dude, 100%, man, 100%. Yeah, T, I have just one more question for you.
Okay.
Now the upcoming TikTok ban. Well, supposed TikTok ban. Who knows at this point? Like in 2 weeks' time, it could be an entirely different story. Now obviously this has been something that has been on the cards for quite a long time, and I can see that you are very proactively prepping yourself for this. But what sort of detail can you give about your plans? Say TikTok isn't a thing in the US in the next couple of weeks.
So, um, I am still going to be dual streaming, but obviously I'll shift TikTok to YouTube. Um, I'm going to start streaming more on YouTube. Recently, I've been streaming more on Twitch and just putting attention to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I need to grow all my accounts anyway. Like, there's different content that belongs on different kind of platforms. So, like, why not try them all? Um, but I've been working towards Twitch for quite some time now, and just now starting to work towards YouTube. Um, but I mean, that's really all I can really say about that.
Yeah.
Everything's still going to really stay the same. I'm putting a lot of effort into how things look, how things work, how what extra I can do with everything. I'm sitting down learning about different mechanics for Twitch almost every day. But what I can say is if TikTok doesn't get banned, you'll probably still see me going down this same route.
Yeah.
Because like, however, I like TikTok. Don't get me wrong. It has its faults, obviously. Um, but I'm finding that I really, really enjoy Twitch
Yeah.
as a streamer and as a viewer. And if they fix their mobile platform, it'll be even better. But
Oh god. That's the
but
whole that's a definitely like an example of something that they've tried to fix that wasn't broken. Like I can say that for sure.
But that being said, I've been recently going down the line of pushing more towards Twitch only streams
Mm-hmm.
and less towards a TikTok because I don't want to grow over there on TikTok if it's just going to go away. I'd
Yeah.
rather take as many people as I can and say, hey, I'm also over here as well if you still want to see some searchy content. Um, but in the process of learning that and going down that route, I think I've found a platform that I enjoy more. So moving forward, even if TikTok doesn't get banned, more than likely still see more and more Twitch only streams, I think.
Yeah.
And then I'd save TikTok for special things. A little tidbit that I haven't told anybody yet. I've been waiting for today to be able to tell
Ooh.
everybody.
Be behind the camera exclusive here.
It's an exclusive. I have been invited to beta test a game um, on TikTok as a like a TikTok creator. I'm not allowed to give a whole lot of details, but what I can say is it is VR related,
Oh.
um, and it's interactive. So to my knowledge, I will be the very first person to ever play this game publicly.
Oh, okay. That is
So
insane. That's so exciting.
yeah, so
Dude.
if the ban doesn't happen, that is coming down. That's part of the like the next 6 month plan, as you will.
No, brilliant. No, that is incredible. Like should that go ahead, I am very much looking forward to seeing that, man. That is the congratulations on getting that. That's awesome.
It's really cool. I'm really excited for it. I'm more excited to be able to get more details and give more details.
Yeah. Oh, of course. But still, that's like that's absolutely huge. Considering as well, if you look back 6 months ago, from the last time we chatted here, you were you toying with the idea of not streaming again at all. To, you know, having like a potentially huge project. Like that's insane, man. No, massive, massive congrats. And that's like well deserved because, one thing I will say is that since you have changed everything up, I have not seen you happier in terms of what you're doing. Like, and I think that's definitely testament in terms of like because of what you're doing, you can engage more with chat. You can just have a bit more fun and more of just be yourself. Because
Yeah,
you're not having to concentrate solely on the whatever you're playing. You're able to just sort of like I haven't seen you laugh as much at certain games or just enjoy yourself, man. So no, that's absolutely huge credit to you for that. So huge congrats, man.
thank you so
Oh,
much
of
for that
course,
because like I it took the enjoyment from very low to more than I ever have. Like
sure.
as far as gaming is concerned, I've always been a gamer, always wanted a game, always liked gaming. But the times that I've had online, like just like for example, yesterday I was playing this weirdly obscure horror game, and I think there was like three people watching me. And like I'm sitting here screaming like a little girl, and then I'm laughing so hard I'm falling out of my chair, laying on the ground. Like I'm just enjoying
Mhm.
being able to enjoy myself with other people.
Absolutely, and like that's the most important thing. Like, because if you can't do that at the very minimum, then is this space really for you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So like just out of curiosity, like is that the one you put the clip up of today with the I don't get
Yeah,
scared by anything? Because that game
yeah.
looked awesome. Like I looked at that and I was like, that game looked because as you know, into a bit of a phasmophobia kind of
Mhm.
thing at the moment. That game looked like and that looked terrifying, but honestly, like the sort of the reactions that you were having to that, it was like the sort of that viral potential with that sort of thing
Well,
alone. Like I think.
what made it so much worse is like you're a toddler, so like
Oh.
all this perspective is from a toddler's perspective.
Oh, right. Okay.
And
Interesting.
the game just released on Steam. That's a free demo that I downloaded though. But it was only like 40 minutes. But within those 40 minutes, I just had the time of my life. And
Brilliant.
like I ended stream. I immediately went upstairs and I was talking to the wife. I'm like, I think that's the most fun I've ever had on a stream. And she's like, well, I think that's the most fun I've ever had watching a stream.
Even better. Like, oh my god, that's insane. Like, and I love that. Absolutely love that for you because it just kind of goes to show. And I think it's like you look at it like on a sort of broader scale, testament to like your new run tournament as well. Even if you just find like a new random game, it just kind of goes to show that there is more variety of games that people can play and get enjoyment out of and still stick within their niche of what they do as a streamer, whether it just be casual gameplay, playing new things for the first time, or speedrun and things like that. So that's amazing. And I'm definitely gonna have to hit you up and check that game out myself because yeah, that it looked so funny.
What you asked though, because Ryan asked me for a game too, and he noped
Yes.
out halfway through.
So okay, so I knew he asked you about the game, but I didn't realize that now. I'm gonna have to have some words with him. But T, it has been absolutely phenomenal having you on behind the camera for a second time. In a behind the camera first, we have had a returning guest. So T, thank you very much for taking the time to come back on to behind the camera. It's been amazing having you share, the last 6 months of your journey and seeing how things have changed, how things have progressed, how much better things seem for you. Like it is honestly, it's been an absolute breath of fresh air to see that. And honestly, like going forward, I can only see bigger and better things coming your way.
Fingers crossed, right?
No, for sure, for
Hopefully, the
sure.
part three is going to be when I'm massively famous and a millionaire.
That's it. Whenever the beta testing like just takes you to the stratosphere, then that's when part three is gonna 100%. That's when that'll drop. So yes, this has been behind the camera with Andy Games. My guest today has been Sir T. You can find him on Twitch at Sir_T Gaming, formerly SLR_T or Slurty, but he was rude enough to change that. We don't hold that against him though. You can find him on TikTok for maybe the next 2 weeks. maybe permanently. Who knows? Because we
Who
sure
knows?
don't. At Sir T. My name is AndyGames_94. This has been Behind the Camera with Andy Games. Thanks, as always, for tuning in. We'll be back again with another installment of Behind the Camera. But until then, peace.